affection, but the sweet. I don't even know what my man is saying there. You think you are so fine. Boom, doo, 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 doo. Stop playing with my mind. That's what the nurses are saying in Minnesota. Stop playing with our fucking minds. Most importantly, stop playing with our money. Throw up that NBC News article if you could, Will. NBC News, thousands of nurses at Minnesota hospitals, they're seeking wage increases of 30%. Underscore, circle, red marker. 30%, bitches. 30 fucking percent. These are the numbers. These are the demands that I am here for. 15,000 nurses, 7 healthcare systems in the Minneapolis and Duluth areas walked out. The affected hospitals said that they recruited temporary nurses. Now, obviously, I'm of two minds of this. First of all, you don't have a healthcare system without the nurses. Let's be fucking clear. Doctors, that's cute. You could be a doctor. Doctors, I guess doctors do something. But I assure you, doctors wouldn't be able to do shit without nurses. Okay? So hold on, let me get through this. So Minneapolis, thousands of nurses in Minnesota launched a 3-day strike on Monday, complaining of low salaries and understaffing. Haven't we heard that? Understaffing woes strained by the coronavirus pandemic. Some 15,000 nurses at 7 hospital care systems at healthcare systems in Minneapolis and Duluth areas walked out. The affected hospitals said that they recruited temporary nurses. Why do they do that? Like, okay, always, anyway, let me not do that. The hospitals and the striking nurses said that staff shortages are a shared concern. Minnesota Nurses Association President Mary Turner said that pay raises are necessary to address the, quote, crisis of retention that would otherwise leave the hospitals severely understaffed. And I'm going to tell you all some of the information that these nurses also put up. The hospitals have offered a 10 to 12% wage increases, but the nurses are seeking more than 30%. Hospital leaders called their wage demands unaffordable, noting that the Alena and Fairview hospitals have posted operating losses and that the cost of such sharp wage increases would be passed along to patients. Well, you're passing the shit along to patients any fucking way. Quote, the union rejected all requests for mediation and held fast to wage demands that were unrealistic, unreasonable, and unaffordable. Several of the Twin Cities hospitals under strike said in a joint statement. Second year nurse Maddie Gray, who was picketing on Monday morning after completing her overnight shift, told the Star Tribune that she had already reduced her hours at M Health Fairview in Southdale at the hospital there because of the stress and frustration of caring for so many severely ill patients. Quote, how long can you keep this up? Gay asked. My license is on the line. Union spokesperson Sam Fettig said that the nurses settled on a 3-day strike rather than an open-ended strike because of the concerns about the impact of drawn-out labor actions on patient care. Again, the nurses are still always putting their patients ahead of even their own needs here. Hospitals argued that the proposals by the union and its nurses are too costly. Quote, it just isn't a realistic number, said Paul Omdont, a spokesperson for several of the Minneapolis area hospitals, said last month. The hospitals affected by the strike included those operated by Alena Health, M Health Fairview, Children's Hospital, North Memorial, and Health Partners in Duluth. In Duluth, it was Essentia and St. Luke's. So there's something about this. So big up, first of all, to the Minneapolis nurses. They are represented in part by SEIU there. And on their Twitter page, they actually had a website It was just too complicated for me to bring it up. But the long and the short of it is, at many of these hospitals where these nurses are striking, the nurses themselves on their website put up the compensation for the top hospital administrators at each of these hospitals listed. And usually, the top administrator at the hospitals at which I looked at, these people are making $2.7 million, $1.3 million, 870,000. And the nurses did a ratio comparison. So, for example, one of the hospital administrators who was making north of $2 million compared that to registered nurse pay at that same hospital. In some instances, the administrator was making 48 times as much as a registered nurse was. So the nurses are like, you're saying that 30% raise in compensation is too much, it's too unaffordable, it's untenable. Well, how about Miss Becky? Why don't you tell Miss Karen to take a little bit of a pay cut? Okay. They don't need to make $2.7 million. How about they make 500,000? I mean, take the money to pay the nurses, it's there. The problem is it's caught up in the pencil pushers, in the bean counters. Those are the people getting the high compensation, not the actual people making sure that you even have a hospital. Because guess what? You could have a hospital without hospital administrators. You cannot have a hospital without nurses. Okay, try it. Try it. Tell Miss Mary to come up out her office and do some phlebotomy. She can't do it. Okay, she cannot do it. She cannot do it. So again, big up to the actions being taken by not only healthcare workers but warehouse workers for Amazon, the baristas, and everybody working at Starbucks. All the different places that are standing up and saying no, like the money is there, capitalism. You are just determined to exploit people's labor and make sure that the money remains hoarded by those at the top, not those actually generating the profits and providing the care. So we want to send big love going out to the Minnesota nurses. Again, SEIU is representing those nurses. They had a big action today. So we will continue to watch what they do. But 30%, that's the carrying on I am here for. Like that those are the kinds of asks that you need to be asking. Because it's not unreasonable, it's not untenable, and it's not unaffordable. The money is there. Pay these fucking people.